afternoon and welcome to Live at 4 on this Monday. How about them Packers?
How about it? That was so exciting.
What an exciting game.
It's so stressful, though. And now it continues.
Off to San Francisco next Sunday.
It's wonderful. It's really
a
exciting.
win there, and it's Super Bowl.
The big one. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed indeed. Well, here's what's making news on this Monday. Now that we've seen the first measurable snowfall of 2020, how to make sure you don't get fined for having snow on your sidewalk.
A Wisconsin judge has ordered the Wisconsin Elections Commission to remove thousands of votes from voter polls.
And Iranians take to the streets for a third day of angry protests after their government admitted to a deadly attack on a commercial airliner.
Let's take a look outside today. It was kind of cloudy and cold. Everybody getting all that ice off the sidewalks.
Yeah, it's just enough to make it hazardous. More on why you need to do that coming up. But first, to the weather words, a little more. Snow on the way. Dave Caulfield's in the backyard. Not a lot.
Yeah, not a lot, but maybe just enough for that machine, which I love, by the way, to maybe get some more action as we get into tomorrow morning. So here is our next round of snow shaping up to our west on Doppler track. We're starting to see some snowflakes form across portions of southern Minnesota and northern Iowa. This weak disturbance will continue to move to the east over the next few hours. I really think that snow begins across southwestern Wisconsin closer to midnight and in Madison by about 2 or 3 in the morning. So live look in Madison. No snow right now on the WISC-TV Skycam, but we are looking at those clouds that have been around through most of the day. Temperatures are in the upper 20s right now, a few low 30s in Janesville, Mineral Point, and also Boscobel, Prairie du Chien as well. Wind chills about 10 degrees lower than what the thermometer is suggesting, so the breeze has picked up just a bit this afternoon. Temperatures will stay pretty steady in the 30s with the cloud cover sticking around, and that will sort of keep our temperatures at bay. Then that snow moves in during the overnight hours and early on Tuesday morning. So a look at your first alert traffic update. Park Street and the Beltline not looking bad in either direction. We do see that snow still on the side of some roadways, so keep that in mind. And we also do have an incident popping up in Dodge County, or not Dodge County, sorry, Jefferson County. We are looking at the Interstate 94 westbound at exit 269 there. There is an incident that is blocking the shoulder there. That is something that you will need to be aware of over the next couple of minutes at least. But on the Beltline and downtown, starting to see a few brake lights, but nothing too major at this point. Traffic generally heading out the posted speeds in Dane County. So your drive times right now, Verona Road to John Nolan eastbound, that's 4 minutes with an average speed of around 60 miles per hour. That's your first alert traffic update. We'll talk about the next couple of rounds of snow. We'll go hour by hour, tell you what you need to know in your first alert forecast.
All right, very good. We'll check back in a little bit. Thanks, Dave.
And following this weekend's snowfall, a lot of people are spending some time today clearing the snow and ice off public sidewalks.
It's a rule in Madison that all property owners have to obey, but some people don't always do it, or they wait too long and they end up getting a citation. Our Jamie Perez joins us live with what you need to know about the rules that could help you avoid getting that ticket. Jamie?
So this is a really great example of what your sidewalk should look like after every single snow event. If you do not clear your sidewalk and it does not look like this, get ready for one of these pink slips to show up at your door. This is the citation that the city will give you, and these start at about $124. So nobody wants to deal with that, but last year the city issued almost 800 citations for this, and all of them are complaint driven. For every day that you do not clear your sidewalk, that price will increase. The second citation will cost you $187. And being on vacation during a snow event does not exempt you from these rules either. The city says that you need to chat with your neighbors about doing it for you while you're gone, so that people who use the sidewalks regularly, like mail carriers, first responders, and pedestrians, can safely get by.
And if you have to traipse through, 6 or 7 inches of snow or walk on glare ice, that can be very treacherous. And it's in particularly difficult for people with mobility issues.
Just to help you out, you can sign up for alerts on the city's website to know when your sidewalk needs to be cleared. You will not get any sort of warning for this. You will simply show up to your house with one of these pink slips. So for the snow event that happened this weekend, they said the deadline for you to clear your sidewalks is by noon tomorrow. So you have a little bit more time. I'll have some more rules to go over with you coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 5.
That's very timely because there's a little more snow on the way. At least it wasn't the big blizzard that we were
You don't want the pink slip,
worried
that's
about.
for sure.
That's for sure. Thank you, Jamie.
An investigation is underway after multiple people were injured in a crash involving a school bus on Madison's west side. It happened around 4 Friday afternoon at the intersection of Ganser and Westward Way. Officials say 2 adults inside the SUV were injured and taken to the hospital. There were about 20 children in the bus at the time of the crash. Fire officials say 5 children were injured. They were taken to the hospital, then released. None of the injuries considered to be life-threatening. The cause of that crash is still under investigation.
A shakeup in the Democratic field for president as Cory Booker has announced he is dropping out of the race. Booker, the senator from New Jersey, had struggled in polling and fundraising since launching his bid last February. Booker was unable to hit 5% support in a single qualifying poll that was required to make it on the January debate stage. The final presidential debate will be held tomorrow night before the Iowa caucuses. A Wisconsin judge says the State Elections Commission must immediately start removing hundreds of thousands of names from voter rolls.
If they don't, they could be fined hundreds of dollars every day. Danica Lewis is here to break down the latest developments in the story. Danica.
Mark and Susan, what makes this so challenging to follow is the multiple lawsuits and court actions going on simultaneously. There is a federal lawsuit filed by the League of Women Voters aiming to stop this purge altogether. But what was ruled on today is going on at the state level. Ozaukee County Judge Paul Malloy is the one who ruled in favor of conservatives last month, saying the Elections Commission had to purge more than 200,000 voters from the rolls because they failed to respond to mailers requesting they update their address. The commission asked an appeals court to put that ruling on hold. The Department of Justice has since asked the state Supreme Court to take up this case. But while all of that is pending, Judge Malloy today is holding Elections Commission officials in contempt, saying, quote, time is of the essence in this case, and he cannot wait for decisions from the other courts. So what does that mean? That means 3 of the 6 members of the Elections Commission will be fined $250 every time they do not comply with this order, and the commission itself will face a $50 fine every day the purge is put off. I reached out to an Elections Commission spokesperson to see where that money would come from. No response yet. We are, though, talking about 209,000 voters that could be purged from the rolls when President Trump won Wisconsin by just about 23,000 votes in 2016.
Danica, thank you. The White House is gearing up for a Senate trial after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi indicated over the weekend that she will send the articles of impeachment. CBS News has learned the White House does not expect the Senate impeachment trial to be dismissed quickly. On Twitter today, President Trump called impeachment the most unfair witch hunt in the history of Congress. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is expected to choose House managers for the Senate trial after Pelosi consults with her caucus tomorrow. Sometime this week, the House will deliver the articles of impeachment to the Senate.
We wanted the public to see the need for witnesses, documentation, which the president has prevented from coming to the Congress.
The president shouldn't have to go through this. He did nothing wrong.
President Trump has said he wants Congressman Adam Schiff, House Speaker Pelosi, and Joe and Hunter Biden to testify in a Senate trial. A senior White House official confirms the president will invoke executive privilege to block testimony from former National Security Advisor John Bolton.
Tensions remain high between the U.S. and Iran, but tensions are also high within Iran as thousands protested their own government over the downing of a passenger plane leaving Tehran's airport last week. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
The Trump administration is praising Iranian protesters demonstrating against their own government.
The United States is with them in their calls for freedom and justice, in their justified anger at the Ayatollah and his minions.
Iranian police reportedly used gunfire to disperse protesters Monday. They're angered over Iran's admission it shot down a passenger jet last week, killing 176 people. The Ukrainian Airlines flight was shot down just hours after Iran launched a missile strike in retaliation for the U.S. killing Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. CBS News has confirmed President Trump approved the plan to kill Soleimani as early as this past summer if Iran's actions in the Middle East resulted in American deaths.
We've warned the Iranians repeatedly, done so personally myself, that an attack that took American lives would not be tolerated, and they tested us.
The Trump administration says Soleimani's death makes Americans safer, but the threat of additional attacks remains, including cyber attacks.
My guess is the Iranians already have several cyber options. They're considering probably quite a number.
Jonathan Meyer, a former Department of Homeland Security official, says the threat of Iranian cyber attacks extends well beyond military targets.
Iran would certainly like to go after government systems, but that's not to the exclusion of private sector systems. And of course, it's easier to go after private sector systems because there are more of them, and it's easier to find weak links.
Meyer says there are also indications Iran is probing U.S. political campaign websites, much like Russia did in 2016. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And there was a rocket attack on another Iraqi airbase yesterday that killed 4 members of Iraq's military. No one has claimed responsibility for that attack.
As crews continue to battle devastating wildfires in Australia, the government is now using food drops to help save starving wildlife. Helicopters are dropping thousands of pounds of carrots and sweet potatoes in a national park where fires have burned the wallabies' natural food sources. The food drops will continue until officials are sure the animals can find their own food and drink. Some wildlife experts estimate up to 1 billion animals have died or been impacted by the wildfires. The Australian government is now pledging $50 million for a wildlife recovery program to help koalas, kangaroos, and other animals.
This has been an ecological disaster, a disaster that is still unfolding.
We need to provide food, shelter and water for the animals.
The wildfires have been burning since September, destroying more than 2,000 homes and scorching an area larger than the state of Indiana. In Victoria, celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay is doing what he can to help victims, pitching in at a food bank to pack emergency supplies.
The Houston Astros have fired general manager Jeff Luhnow and manager A.J. Hinch after they were suspended by Major League Baseball this afternoon. A league investigation found the Astros guilty of stealing signs, which is considered cheating in the game. The team allegedly stole signs from other teams using special cameras during the regular season and their own World Series win in 2017. MLB suspended both Hinch and Luhnow for the upcoming season. Boston Red Sox manager Alex Cora worked for the team during the 2017 season and is expected to receive a suspension as well. Like the signs the catcher does, not
right.
Keep off the lawn.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
All right, when we come back, our film critic Will Loper is here.
We'll find out what Will thinks of the new movie Like a Boss. Plus, we'll get his reaction to this morning's Oscar nominations. That's when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Flu activity remains very high, and blood centers around the country say it's impacting the blood supply.
January is typically a low donation month for blood centers around the country, and they are all looking for donors with all different types of blood. But right now, there's a critical shortage of O-negative blood, which is known as the universal donor. Angela Monteagle says some blood centers around the country only have a 3-day supply of the O-positive and negative.
We would like 7 to 10 days supply every day sitting on the shelves. And that makes sure that we are prepared for any tragedy or an emergency.
Centers nationwide want to remind everybody who can donate that it takes less than an hour, and 1 pint of blood can save up to 3 lives. The American Red Cross says it has also seen shortages in their blood centers nationwide. Stocks were higher on Wall Street ahead of the signing of a trade deal with China later this week. The Dow Industrials added 83 points, closing at 28,907. The Nasdaq gained 95 and the S&P 500 up 22. Both of those are record closes.
Carter. I'm Clara Luna. I am going to invest $1.7 million on you. If you want to be a businesswoman, you're going to have to act like a boss. You have to fire him.
What? Don't hate me, hate Mel. It was her idea. What? Listen to us, Hey, witness my tragic moment.
That was a clip from Like a Boss on the newest movies to hit theaters this weekend.
Is the film worth seeing? Here to let us know what he thinks is our film critic, Will Loper. I have a feeling that's going to become a meme very soon.
Absolutely. Billy Porter's so funny, but gotta say, guys, while the movie does have a few funny moments, all the cast involved have done so much more funny stuff before, and certainly are better than what they're given in this film here. So Tiffany Haddish and Rose Byrne play Mia and Mel. They're lifelong best friends who have a makeup company together. When rich makeup mogul Claire Luna comes along, played by Salma Hayek, she offers to invest in Mia and Mel's company. They say okay on the stipulation that if their friendship breaks up, Claire will own their company. Now, Salma Hayek might as well be twirling a mustache and petting a fluffy white cat for how much of a cartoon villain she is as Claire, who decides to invest all sorts of time and energy into breaking up Mia and Mel. But worst of all, this movie is painful for seeing joke after joke fall flat and gags sputter out. It's even more head-scratching when you consider what these actors have done before. They've been in legitimately funny movies. Tiffany Haddish was, of course, in Girls Trip. Rose Byrne's been in Bridesmaids, Spy, Neighbors, and more. You know, I think this is a good movie to put on the background when you catch it on cable for free in 6 months, but otherwise, don't run to the theater to see it.
A woman empowerment movie.
It is.
Directed and written by a man.
Yes, there were 2 men who wrote it and 1 who directed it, and for such a movie steeped in the female experience and friendship, you wouldn't think somewhere along the way you want to consult a woman, guys?
You think? Yeah. You think? All right, what's the rating?
I give this one 2 Billy Porters out of 5. He is the one part of the movie that makes it bearable.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
Yeah. The Oscar nominations came out this morning.
One of your least favorite movies, Joker, received the most nominations, including a nomination for Joaquin Phoenix as Best Actor, which even you have acknowledged he really deserves.
He is. He's great as Best Actor, and I was hoping maybe the rest of the love for this movie would die out. But no, 11 nominations, the most of any movie, but that's all right.
Any surprises?
Yeah, so Klaus, Netflix's animated film, bumped out Frozen 2 in the animated category, which is just, I find really shocking. Frozen 2 is one of the highest grossing animated films ever. Greta Gerwig did not get a Best Director nomination for Little Women, no Best Supporting Actress for Jennifer Lopez for Hustlers, and no Best Actor for Robert De Niro for Irishman or Eddie Murphy for Dolomite Is My Name, and nothing for Uncut Gems at all. We all remember Adam Sandler's promise that he's going to make the worst movie in the world if he didn't win the Oscar.
That's right.
I think we can expect that now.
That's surprising, Uncut Gems, because people like that movie.
Yeah, it's gotten great critical acclaim, but when you kind of look at it, it doesn't really feel like an Oscars-type movie, so I can kind of understand, but people love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see who wins.
We will.
Pretty soon we'll be getting your predictions.
I'll have them.
Okay.
Right. Next week.
Next week we have the remake of Doolittle.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think this will get any Oscar buzz.
All right, we'll see you next week. Well, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be right back. Well, take a look at this. 3 skydivers, 1 student and 2 instructors are in the air in this video from the Join the Team YouTube channel. As they let go of the student, he starts flailing out of control. One of the instructors dives down, flips him over, and pulls his ripcord dangerously close to the ground. The instructor then quickly pulls his parachute at approximately 1,000 feet above the target altitude. Unfortunately, he gets tangled up and is twisted because he releases both chutes. Since he was so close to the ground, his automatic deployment device triggered his backup chute at basically the same time that he pulled his main chute. Amazingly, he was still able to land, but not at the drop zone.
Mark said, this is why I will never skydive.
I will never willingly jump out of an airplane.
I'm so stressed. Oh, my gosh.
He's fine. Everybody's fine.
He's fine.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
I don't know if that student's going to go again.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
Dramatic video, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm never going to jump out of a plane.
No, I can't. My sister did it.
Your dad did it.
My dad did it, and I've thought about it, but I don't know if I could. I don't know if I have the guts. I don't know.
I could do those indoor places where there's like no risk. That's more my speed.
Okay, any risk on the roads tomorrow?
Maybe some slick spots early tomorrow morning if you are an early riser, maybe around like 5 or 6 in the morning. But after that, I think we should be okay. Just a little bit more snow is on the way for tonight. We'll talk about plenty more chances this week, though, in your first alert forecast and just a few skydives. Good afternoon. I hope you had a really nice Monday. Another 1 to 2 inches of snow falling last night and early this morning across southern Wisconsin, and another round of light snow on the way as we get into the overnight hours. So the active weather continuing across southern Wisconsin. So that snow moves out of here very early tomorrow morning, and after that we actually get a little bit of sunshine by the afternoon, helping us to receive a little bit milder air on Tuesday. And we could be talking about more snow systems on the way for Wednesday and Friday. All that and more coming up in your first alert forecast. So on Doppler track, we see the first signs of our next round of snow across portions of Minnesota and Iowa. This area of snow showers will continue to spread to the east over the next 6 hours or so. I think by the time we get to around midnight, that snow will start to overspread southwestern Wisconsin, and then a little bit closer to 2 or 3 in the morning, we could see some of that snow make its way closer to Madison. Snow depth about 3 to 6 inches of snow for most of southern Wisconsin still on the ground, and while temperatures will be mild tomorrow, I think that still a good amount of this will stick around because temperatures will be up and down. We're not getting that consistent warm that we were talking about earlier in the month of January and through much of December. Because remember, we basically had no snow for a very long time on the ground, that is. And the pattern has definitely shifted, and we're noticing another pattern shift for colder weather on the way as we get closer to the end of this month. Madison on the Edgewater Skycam. Cloudy skies right now. 29 degrees the high for today, so a little bit above normal for this time of year. We should be in that mid-20 range for highs and right around 10 degrees for lows. Our temperatures really haven't moved all that much with the clouds and snow in town today. High temperatures will be really up and down, and that's sort of what we saw. Remember about a month ago when we were talking about winter overall, there was no real signal from El Nino, which is what we look at typically for, what maybe hinting at what will happen during the winter months. And we said that when that doesn't happen, there's going to be these swings in temperatures and with storms and things like that. And really, we're seeing that to a T over the next couple of days. So 30s one day, down to the 20s the next, and up and down and up and down. Does look like consistent cold, though, does start to build in by the time we get to the start of next week with temperatures in the teens and 20s for highs. Remember, normal for this time of year is around 26 degrees, so we'll be about 5 degrees below normal pretty consistently as we get into the start of next week. So as far as snow chances go, we'll see those snow chances go up during the overnight hours and early morning hours of tomorrow. So Tuesday early morning, I should say. Sometimes that verbiage can get a little confusing. And then dry for most of the day on Tuesday before Wednesday morning. Our snow chances start to go up once again. So tonight, mostly cloudy with some snow, maybe some freezing rain mixing in at times, especially by early tomorrow morning. And then for tomorrow, skies becoming partly sunny and mild with highs right around 40 degrees. On Future Track, we noticed that snow starting to make its way into southwestern Wisconsin right around midnight. And then by the time we get to 2 or 3 in the morning, South central Wisconsin sees those snowflakes. They do get out of here pretty quickly. And again, we can't rule out some rain or some freezing drizzle mixing in with that at times. Shouldn't have a major impact on your day, but a couple of slick spots can't be ruled out. Highs right around 40 with partly sunny skies for Tuesday. And then Wednesday morning, a light wintry mix is possible to start off the day. So we'll have to watch that closely as well. Not much more in the way of snow total is expected over the next 48 hours or so. Generally less than an inch for most of southern Wisconsin with some slightly higher amounts possible to the north, and we'll keep you posted if that changes. So 7 to 10 day forecast showing those up and down temperatures, one day of 30s, one day of 20s, and then the cold weather settles in as we get into the start of next week. With the cold comes the quiet weather, so some sunshine will be out, but it's really not going to help temperatures all that much with highs in the 20s and lows in the single digits.
It is January.
Yes,
yeah, exactly.
Is.
This is more apropos.
Yeah.
All right, Dave. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Winter Restaurant Week presented by Madison Magazine starts this Sunday, January 19th. A 3-course meal starting at $25.
It's a really great deal. And you get to try as many restaurants as you want in Madison. There are more than 50 participating in Winter Restaurant Week, including a newcomer to Madison. We sat down with the culinary director of Palette Bar and Grill on East Washington Avenue. Palette Bar and Grill is on the ground floor of the building that converted the historic Mott's paint warehouse into the Hotel Indigo. The name is a play on color palette and taste palette, and this will be culinary director Anibal Brandt's Restaurant Week debut.
We are excited, very excited. This is our first time and people from Madison get excited to try new restaurants and new food.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why is this something you wanted to do?
Because we wanted to introduce to Madison who we are and what we do. We are a new American cuisine.
What does new American cuisine mean?
We upscale the food, and we try to do different things than everybody else. That's what we do.
And you brought some examples of your Restaurant Week menu.
Yes.
What did you bring for us today?
This is our seared salmon with our house seasoning. It has some wilted spinach with wild mushroom. Everything is local. And then we put a grilled orange slice in there with a citrus beurre blanc.
It is so colorful and beautiful.
Yeah, as you can see.
Yeah, it fits the theme of the restaurant.
Yeah.
And what about the salad?
We call it over the rainbow salad because you can see all the color that it has. It comes with fresh local greens. It has a lemon honey vinaigrette. It has some cherry tomatoes, crispy bacon, and garlic croutons.
On your Restaurant Week menu, you have 4 entree options, which is nice because there's something for everyone on the menu.
Yep, that's right. We did some vegetarian options, seafood, some steaks. It has some poultry too. So it's exciting for everyone.
And you're also going to be serving your regular menu on top of the Restaurant Week menu.
It will be busy.
I was just going to say that might be the perfect storm.
Yeah,
Are you ready for that?
That's right. We are. I mean, we are prepared. This is our first time, but we're ready.
How important is Restaurant Week to a restaurant like yours? I mean, you've been open for just over a year, almost a year. Is this your opportunity to sort of make a big impression, do you think?
Absolutely. As I said, this is important for us because we can show people who we are.
Now, you are originally from Venezuela, is that right?
I am.
Do you bring a Venezuelan influence to your cooking?
Absolutely. Every time that we change the menu, so I put a little bit of my heart in that. So a little bit of our food. You know, because the good thing about us is that we have no rules for cooking, so we can improvise and put new flavors in there, combine you know, Asian flavors with Latin flavors, and
put your stamp on it.
Absolutely.
We'll see you for Restaurant Week.
Thank you
you so much. Winter Restaurant Week starts this Sunday, January 19th. It runs through Friday, January 24th. The menus start at $25, and some restaurants are offering lunch for $15. At Palette, they only serve breakfast and dinner. To see the menus or for more information, go to madisonmagazine.com, and remember that reservations are strongly encouraged.
Pro tip, these restaurants fill up.
But it has gotten more popular every single year.
It really has.
And have you been to Hotel Indigo yet?
No, I haven't.
It is really something to see.
It looked great.
Yeah, they have all
great.
the old paint cans.
From the Mott's Paint, yeah, because
exactly.
it's the Mott's Paint Factory.
It's really cool.
Well, there's more to come at 4. Up next, we get to check on the headlines.
And tonight at 5, why a woman is pushing the city of Madison to be conservative about the amount of salt they use to treat the roads. We'll have that story tonight at 5.
So did Mott's go out of business?
For a forecast that
Here's a live look at the Henry Vilas Zoo, the polar bear exhibit. A little too cold for the polar bears, I think. It is 20 to 5, and here's a check on the headlines.
An investigation is underway after multiple people were injured in a crash involving a school bus on Madison's west side. It happened around 4 Friday at the intersection of Ganser and Westward Way. Officials say 2 adults inside the SUV were injured and taken to an area hospital. There were about 20 children in the bus at the time of the crash. Fire officials say 5 children were injured and were taken to a hospital and then released. None of the injuries are considered to be life-threatening.
An Ozaukee County judge is holding the Wisconsin Elections Commission in contempt of court for not removing 209,000 names from the state's voter rolls. The Wisconsin Elections Commission will meet tomorrow to discuss what to do next.
Presidential candidate Cory Booker has announced he is dropping out of the 2020 race. Booker, the senator from New Jersey, had struggled in polling and fundraising since launching his bid last February.
As crews continue to battle devastating wildfires in Australia, the government is now using food drops to help save starving wildlife. Helicopters are dropping thousands of pounds of carrots and sweet potatoes in a national park where fires have burned the wallabies' natural food sources. The food drops will continue until officials are sure the animals can find their own food and drink. Some wildlife experts estimate up to 1 billion animals have died or have been impacted by the wildfires.
Well, still to come tonight at Live at 4, we're taking your medical questions live today with Dr. Zorba Pastor. If you have a question, the number is 270-9933.
Zorba standing by at his clinic in Oregon. Hi, Zorba. What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about good news on the cancer front.
Good afternoon. Here's your Monday First Alert traffic update. On the Beltline at Park Street, we are noticing that volumes start to increase at the eastbound direction here. Looking at some other incidents we want to make you aware of. So this accident on I-90 eastbound just south of the Wisconsin Dells after exit 89 has been cleared. However, we still are noticing some delays from that. So keep that in mind over the next 15 minutes. Still showing that accident close to the interstate I-94 westbound near exit 259, Wisconsin 89. That's causing a little bit of delays close to Lake Mills. And also on the Beltline, we're noticing those delays start to increase past Park Street on the eastbound side. Westbound is looking pretty good, though, at the present time. Here are your drive times, 18 minutes right now, so not too bad. Eastbound University Ave to the interstate with an average speed of around 50 miles per hour. That's your First Alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. Do you have a question for Dr. Zorba Pastor? Well, now is the time to call in. The number 270-9933.
It's a great day to call. If you have a medical question, the phones are wide open. Dr. Pastor is standing by at his clinic in Oregon. Hi, Zorba.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good.
Very good. Good to see you. While we're waiting for some of the calls to clear, let's talk a little bit. There is some very encouraging news when it comes to treating cancer.
That's right. Cancer deaths, when we look at cancer deaths or percentage of deaths, they're actually going down much more dramatically than we ever thought. Now, a lot of people are still getting cancer because the population is getting older. But if we look at breast cancer, colon cancer especially, the two major cancers, and even lung cancer, which is the #1 cancer that we have, the numbers are improving. And so then you look and you say, why are the numbers improving? First of all, for lung cancer, fewer are smoking. There still are too many people who are lighting up, but there are fewer people every year that are doing it, and that's a really big difference. When it looks at colon cancer, the difference is we're eating better, we're exercising more, which reduces the risk of colon cancer, and we're getting screened. And we look at breast cancer, mammography. Regular mammography has made a huge difference. New medications have really helped when people have metastatic breast cancer, but it's really early detection is the cure. So I think all on the front, we really are seeing some good news on cancer, and it's always good to have good news on healthcare.
Absolutely, especially cancer. So it's lifestyle, it's health, it's the medication,
it's lifestyle,
all sorts
it's
of
health,
things.
it's screening, it's everything all together. Now, keep in mind, from a cardiac point of view, we are doing much better when it comes to stroke reduction and heart attack reduction, but I think cancer is finally getting caught up, and I think we're getting a better handle on how to pick it up and how to actually treat it.
All right, this flu season seems to be kind of bad this year. A toddler died last week.
Right, right. Influenza, always an issue. I had somebody in my office today who said, is it too late to get a flu shot? And I said, no, it's never too late to get a flu shot. And the answer is, for anyone who's not gotten the flu shot, now is the time to either call your doctor, go to your pharmacy, get a flu shot. It's so easy now that pharmacies all get flu shots pretty much across the state, and it's really important. Influenza is always bad this time of year. I think this year is going to turn out to be one of the worst years because you said a toddler recently died. Everyone should get a flu shot. It really does make a difference. And of course, it doesn't help you with the common cold, but it helps you with influenza, which is the common cold that can kill you.
All right, let's go to the calls. We'll start with Terry in Mineral Point. Hi, Terry.
Hi, good afternoon.
What's your question?
My oncologist is just transferring me over to a new drug called Zytiga. I've been waiting for approval because the copay on it is so incredibly high, but I got a grant to cover the copay on it, and I was wondering if Dr. Zorba has had any experience with it. Curious about what... Just curious about side effects.
Right. Unfortunately, I don't have experience with that. That's really where the oncologists do. They kind of know which drugs are best and then what the side effects are. Some drugs, you know, each drug has different side effects. That one I'm not familiar with. But once again, it's really the expense of some of the oncology drugs that are the real issue. And getting a grant for that copay can make a big difference in your care. So make sure you get that.
All right, let's go to Gary in Stoughton. Hi, Gary. What's your question?
Hi, Dr. Zorba. I do a lot of hiking, and my large toenails have lifted off of the toes, and they continue to grow that way, but they're no longer attached to the toes. And I'm wondering, is there anything I can do to get them back onto the toes?
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, sometimes you have to actually go to the doctor and get the toenail removed, because then it'll grow back initially from the base of the nail itself. So often when it's sort of above, it's sort of like an ingrown toenail, a little bit worse. You've got to have the thing removed, and then a new nail will come in and come in properly. While you actually have that nail that's up, taping it can make a difference just with a Band-Aid or a piece of tape, but there's no magic way to actually get it to sit down on the nail. Once it comes off, you need to get the nail removed to get it to grow back the right way.
That sounds painful.
Yeah, it does. Well, we freeze it, but it's painful when you freeze it.
Just don't rip it off. Okay, that's good. All right, Tony in New Glarus. Hi, Tony. Tony, you there?
Hello.
Hi, what's your question?
Yes, I'm here. I had the knee replacement surgery on my right knee 2 years ago, and since then, the pain in that knee has gotten worse and worse. And I don't know what to do about it. I went back to the surgeon, and he took an x-ray, and all we saw was a nice titanium knee. But I'm having a great deal of trouble with it. I'm wondering what you suggest.
Very often, when you've got post-surgical knee pain, physical therapy makes a major difference, and doing those exercises for 8 to 12 weeks every single day. And what happens is often people will stop after a few days or a week and they'll say it's not getting anything. You just have to keep it up, because you often are rehabilitating the muscles and the ligaments around the knee. The joint is usually good, the titanium joint, but it's those muscles and ligaments that actually cause the problem. The other thing, of course, is temporarily taking 2 naproxen in the morning, Aleve, 2 Aleve in the morning, 2 Aleve in the evening, if you can tolerate, can also make a difference. But PT is the ultimate answer.
All right. Good advice as usual. Thank you, Zorba. Thank you, everyone, for calling in. We'll do this again soon.
Yeah. Zorba, thanks so much. Good to see you.
Great to be here.
You sound better than last time.
Yes, much.
Thanks. My cold is better. Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. A little more snow.
Yeah, we're in that sort of getting peppered every day or every other day setup that can sometimes happen across the area during the winter months. And our next round of snow is on the way right now, only affecting Minnesota and Iowa. But as we get into the overnight hours, probably from about midnight through about 5 a.m., that snow will filter through southern Wisconsin. For the next few hours, though, just cloudy with temperatures staying in the 30s. Will be mild by tomorrow afternoon with highs near 40.
All right. So long, Dave. It's your last live at 4.
Yeah, that's so sad.
All right.
Oh, don't make me cry. Thanks, Dave.
We'll be right back.